we keep an eye on politics, one of the biggest races in the spotlight this primary season is for Cook County Assessor, in part because thousands of homeowners were just hit with massive property tax bills. And in some areas, like the city's west side, they went up more than 100%. It sparked outrage and renewed concerns about how properties are assessed. Current assessor, Democrat Fritz Kaegi, is running for re-election, but a former 20-plus-year employee of that office is challenging him this primary. Pat Hynes is the current Lyons Township assessor, and he joins me now live. Good morning, Pat. Thanks so much for being here.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's good to, try to learn more about, people running for these offices. And regarding, those huge property tax increases, the current assessor blames, in part, the Board of Appeals for giving huge tax relief or tax breaks to businesses, thereby, draining the coffers in that way. The treasurer says it's partly because of commercial vacancies, shifting the burden to homeowners. What are the reasons in your mind that property taxes continue to just spike, and what would you do or could you do to change it if you win?
So that doesn't tell the whole story. So the property tax bills have spiked on the west side and the south side. And when
and north side residents too, of which I will say I'm one of them.
But as you look at those statistics there, they were really sharp on the west side and the south side.
Yes.
And if you look at the underlying assessments for those tax payments, you'll see that the assessment spiked in those communities as well. And so the idea that the shift is because of the central business district or commercial properties doesn't tell the whole story, because it landed inequitably on the west side and the south side as opposed to on the north side. So those things are directly related to the decision by the county assessor to spike the assessments in those communities. I talked to taxpayers who had a doubling of their assessment, a tripling of their assessment, yet they know that they can't sell their property for 3 times as much as they could have 3 years ago.
So can you change that if you were to?
Absolutely.
How?
Well, you just follow the market. So if someone hasn't enjoyed a doubling in the value of their property in the last 3 years, they shouldn't have to suffer a doubling of their assessment 3 years later. That's not the way our system is set up. That's not the way things are supposed to work. We're supposed to follow the market, and the market moves steadily, even in a hot market. It moves steadily at a regular pace. It doesn't double or triple in 3 years. Sort
of along those same lines, your campaign has mentioned the current assessor, Fritz Kaegi, has not been accurate in assessing some properties, for instance, pointing out, I believe, a garage, for instance, or a home that was assessed as a garage for years on end. Of course, then, the tax revenue from that would be much less. Do you plan to fix that, and how?
Indeed. So the incumbent assessor has done a very poor job of keeping up with change in Cook County for the built environment. So if you think about in a year how many times hammers are swinging or things are being built, it's the duty of the county assessor to capture that change, to add value, and to tax it. And that's not happening right now. So we're just simply going to do the job that should be done. Every time someone builds a new home, we'll inspect it, add it to the tax rolls, and make sure that it's paying its fair share. So that's not happening right now. The Tribune did an investigation that $400 million were missing in 1 year alone. They got tired of looking after a while. We have chronicled many properties that are missing from the tax rolls. The one that you see that's assessed as a garage when there's a new house there. It's just simple inability to do the job, to add the new properties to the tax rolls so that they make sure that those new properties are paying their fair share.
Now, you have faced some criticism for taking donations from property tax appeal attorneys that mostly represent businesses. Is that a signal, an indication that if you win, you could expect, they could expect a sort of a friendlier assessment for them as well? I mean,
No.
That is a criticism being levied at you.
Well, that's fairly hypocritical by Assessor Kaegi. The Real Deal just exposed that he's taken $400,000 of real estate interest money to my $200,000. What it really is a distraction so that he doesn't have to talk about his record of increasing property taxes in these communities. We've seen triple-digit increases for some folks, and that's just a direct result of the assessor being unable to do his job. It's been 2,639 days. It's not working out. It's time for new leadership.
Homeowners, I mean, I have to go back to these homeowners, especially on the west and south sides. I mean, people literally are going to be losing their homes. Yes. The whole assessment, situation is a big mystery to people. So can you guarantee that there will be property tax relief for these homeowners if you were to become the Cook County Assessor? And is there one thing you would do differently that you haven't already mentioned?
So absolutely. Again, it goes back to, if you did not enjoy a doubling in the value of your property, you shouldn't have to suffer a doubling of your assessment. So the exact same thing happened last year in the Southland, where Assessor Kaegi increased the residential assessments outside of the city of Chicago between I-57 and the Indiana border. You look at the delinquency rates in those communities, we have 40% delinquency rates, 30% delinquency rates. Folks are flat out going to lose their homes, because when you spike property taxes like that, you give them 30 days to come up with the money, and they're not going to be able to do it.
But what would you do differently?
I would follow the market. So again, the market doesn't say that these properties enjoyed a doubling of their value. And so we would follow the market and not do that to people. If you just follow the law, if you follow the market, you don't have to double the assessment. You don't have to spike these taxes. You don't have to push people out of their homes. And so we just need a little more stability and predictability in our tax system so that we don't do that to people.
All right, Pat Hynes, a lot more we could try to unpack here, but I do appreciate you being with us so early this morning. Thank you once again for joining me on set.
Thanks for having me.
All right, that Pat Hynes, of course, who is running on the Democratic side to challenge current Cook County Assessor Fritz Kaegi. And I want to mention that we have also reached out to incumbent Assessor Fritz Kaegi twice now to invite him on the show as well for an interview, and we have yet to hear back. But you can watch our full interviews with the other candidates we've had on both sides of the aisle in other key races on our website, cbschicago.com/election. And we'll be right back. In the meantime, here's a look at what's coming up at 7.